and to the rule over the universe is nothing compared to the receiving the authentic empowerment. And also it's like when you receive the PT instruction or the empowerment, transmission about authentic teachings, and this you compare the like a kind of the you become the like a ruler over the universe. It cannot compare that. And even you become the like kind of ruler of the universe, which is the better, which is the benefit, more benefit you should to receive the transformation, empowerment, this kind of authentic teachings. It cannot compare, because when you receive the empowerment teachings, you can to go through this, you can go to the ultimate, you can maybe achieve the ultimate reality of the Buddhahood. That is, this level is cannot compare the ruler over the universe. And look how these who do not keep the samayas is nothing compared to the seeing the to nature of the mind is like this. And also it's like you, how do you say, to see that your own nature of the mind is, and this is like even you see into the real Buddha, or you really seeing your own true nature, it is of course most important. You should to see the true nature of your own mind. And look who those with no determinations sink back into the delusions here. And there's not like kind of courage, the diligent, and there's a kind of no determinations, very much kind of the lack of the diligent. Then it's like kind of become the more into the delusions. And when we are received the PT instructions, like a kind of direct to saying that is your sensual nature of the mind. When you have imagine, when you have a little bit understand into your mind, that you are like the benefit is even you see the direct, the really Buddha alive. And if you are not maintain that, and then it's like preoccupied, different thoughts, different like ideas, then it's making yourself to more delusions. And these are the freedoms and advantages do not come by the chance or the pre-chance or coincidence. They are the result of the accumulation of the merit and wisdom, but up over many kalpas. And there is the like to thinking about the difficult to create the cause and condition in order to obtain the human existence. And to obtain the human existence, such we need a cause, such meritorious we need it, and the meritorious of the merit and the meritorious of the wisdoms. We need to do this kind of eons, many years, and in order to obtain the human existence. It's not any kind of the merit can produce the human rebirth. And even we think like this, to be obtained the human existence is very difficult. The great scholar TWOMPT Jansen says, this free and advantage human existence is not the result of your resourcefulness. Resourceful means it's like very intelligent. Someone is like can't easily avoid some problems, and to easy communication, and easy to develop the compassion. Someone think it's like I am very much resourceful and resourcefulness. But even if you this kind of intelligent, resourceful person, but you can't to get that human existence. You need some specific like meritorious in order to get the human existence. It comes from the merit, from the virtues, specific cause. You have like accumulate many eons. To have obtained the human life only to be holy wholly involved in evil activities without the least notion of Dharma is to be low than the low Ralamas. And it's like, even we are like kind of to obtain the human life, but only to be the whole involvement, maybe evil activities, killing, stealing, doing sexual misconduct, lying, giving harsh words, and all the times talking about gossips to the others, and envious to the others' thinkings, and also it's like some all the times has a bad wish to the others, and also such wrong views. And this kind of involvement then is without the lesser notion of the Dharma, and like a kind of there's nothing sense notion of the Dharma, no interest, no kind of enthusiastic. Then to be low Ralamas almost is like same as the reborn and the low Ralamas, and like this. And therefore, Jetsun Malaripa, who taught Hunter Ngumbu Dorji, he's of course finally best student, and he was hunter. Yesterday I said he's like a hunter. He went in the forest. Certainly he saw the deer, and he has a very special duck. He sent duck in the deer, and the deer ran to the Malaripas in the cave, and the dog is coming, and he sing to the dog, and the dog, deer both and sitting there. And then is the Ngumbu Dorjis arrived, Churava Ngumbu Dorjis. This hunter, Churava Ngumbu Dorji, they don't Jetsun Mala said to the hunter Ngumbu Dorji, but Ngumbu Dorji they wrote it. You should to write both, Churava Ngumbu Dorji. Churava Ngumbu Dorji. Ngumbu Dorji is read, the half name is lost. And then he arrived there, and Ngumbu Dorji says, and why you are like can't disturb me? Give me back my deer and hunting. Then he sung like this: to have the freedoms and fortune of the human birth is unusually said to be precious. But when I see someone like you, it doesn't seem precious at all. And like this, and he sang like this. Normally, it's human beings. It's very rare, very precious. But if when I see it to you, looks like it's nothing precious. Your like kind of activity is like all the time hunting. It's negative actions. Which kind of? He said like this, and then it's like after he's like interested, he's become the best student once Malaripas, and like this, this says. Nothing has the much power to dragging you down to the low Ralamas as human life. And once it's like a kind of we obtain the human existence, if we are not checking our attitude conduct, if we are like completely involved in the negative attitude, negative conduct, and then it's the really like kind of powerful we are doing, you know. It is like this drag ourselves down to the low Ralamas as the human lives. It's like really it's all this negative and attitudes, negative involvement is like kind of the how do you say, the wheel milk stone. It's like you can to say the wheel milk. How do you say the you maker of the tsambas or the barleys? How do you call this milk stone? Okay, milk stone. This one is like you put into your neck and you jump into the ocean and you never come out. This milk stone dragging you in the deep of the ocean, complete die. Like this, all the negativities, activities, it's just we put in our neck, this negative conduct, negative attitudes, dragging us into direct the low Ralamas. Like this, what you do with it right now is up to you alone. And if we do some, it's like positive things, positive attitude, positive conduct. In this life, I want in single life, in this moment of life, we can to be in the Buddhahood, most result of the highest. This is complex. Therefore he says, and used well, this body is our raft to the freedoms, like a kind of completely, it's making freedoms. This body is the great, like a kind of the boat. It can bring us across the Pacific Ocean of the samsara, other shore, safely. And therefore, it is like good, used very well, this boat of the human existence bring to other shores. And excellent, this used badly, this body on shore us to the samsara, and like a kind of the anchors to the samsara, they making the basic foundation of the like a kind of the samsara. It's never coming, it's the out. And according to this obtained the human existence. It's a few years ago, there's one French guy, very intelligent science. He created the nuclear bombs. And he before died so much like the kind of the regret, sending message to the scientists, please do not create anything. If like some is a human existence to destroy, huge and to disturb to, and the unvirtuous, negative activities, enormous they can to do it, because human beings are very powerful. And then it's like really is just then is afterward is forever, never to get back like this kind of almost. And we are like this kind of human beings is going to direct to in the lower realms. This body does not build of the both goods. Building is like kind of to make service. Body is, if we use it very well, we can to result, or we make a very fantastic. If we use a very bad, and it's like we can to make a very bad result. Therefore, it's the slave of the good and bad, and we need to use this body through the positive, like these things. It's through the power of all the mercy you have accumulated. It is the past that you have now obtained this human life, completed with this 18 freedom and advantages. And to neglect the one essential thing, the supreme Dharma. And if we could not do something to do some important hardcore or thinking something like this. And now is this moment we understood our periods, our life, what we done. We need to appreciate our previous life or previous person, because they done very good. According that, we obtained a fantastic situation right now. Now we think in the futures and what we can do in the futures. Now this time is like we have obtained it is like a kind of you can to say is the 18 freedoms or the like advantages, because it's like if we all that put together, it is the 34 8 freedom, or the 8 freedoms and the advantages. When we obtain like this, and then why we are making the like a meaningless life, and we need to find some essential things, the supreme Dharma, into our minds, and instead just spend our life acquiring food and clothes and indulging the 8 ordinary concern would be a useless waste of those freedom and advantages. Absolutely. We have these freedoms and advantages. We have precious human existence, but we choose to, instead spend and our life like acquiring or like a benefit for just food, clothes, earn money. And something like this, indulging like pleasures for the temporary, worldly, ordinary, like kind of pleasure achievement concerning. Then it would be a useless waste of this freedom and advantages. And then how is the ineffectuals, I difficult to say, ineffectual, to wait until death, just open you and there be, beat your this beast with remorse. Of course, when we are like kind of and unfortunate, like kind of the ineffectual, it is like kind of misfortunately we using our like kind of freedoms wrong way, and west way is like this. Until we death, we spend for food, just this life, clothes, and like kind of dungeoning, like indulged the eight ordinary concert is like to concern the pleasures, and then is death is open our, and then it's like kind of beating our breast, say a lot of lamentation, says please help me, oh Habo, now I'm going to die, like this. And many people to say, and to say please help me, I don't want to die, I'm free for the death. And also it's like the beating beast with remorse, great regret during this life, what I done. Now it's like difficult to appreciate that. They immediately say the death process start, we think about in our life, when we appreciate, when we enjoyed our life, what we done some positive, good things. Nothing there is, something is like a momentary nature, something is like a dream, something is certainly is arrived there, and death is like open to us. And then of course there is a great remorse. Then is for you all that have made the wrong choice. And in this life is a little bit, we just to done something mistakenly. And then is, when is the death open to us and started, then is we are hurry up, it's very difficult to say. Some is a sick persons, when they begin, then they have the sickness, they don't much listen to the doctor, they don't much rely on the doctor. Even doctor gives scriptures, medicines, they don't care, sometimes they forgot it, they like this, like same as the meat. And certainly that the sickness worse and worse, and then says, sorry, we can't do nothing, now your sickness is like really over. At that moment, then we eat, to hurry up to eat medicine, it's too late. Maybe medicine doesn't work. And like this, too early to protect us, early to do something. And like this, I was one in Spain, in the Barcelona. And I think first time so I went there, and our Marina, this Spanish lady, not here, she organized it. Then I went to this one Buddhist center, and there's called the Lama Onchen, the Geshe Onchens. It's nice, and they asked welcome, and I taught a little Dharma. And then during the night, there's a lot of Tibetan guys there. We ate together in the morning. They made breakfast, we eat together, and someone come from center, someone come, some different region, we chat. And then it's like we are late. Breakfast, maybe we eat, drink, chatting, and until the 10 o'clock or the 12. And then one guy came, and the other guy says, what you did this morning? You didn't come. And then the guy replied to say, oh, I went to in the hospital to check all my bodies. Why you needed to check? And he said, hey, you should to check. Why? Because once, small fire is catched in your, this, how do you say, it's like the pile of the, like a firewood of your bodies. In Tibet, it's like like a lump. It is like a kind of powder of the yak shit or the sheep shit is very much dye and very much powdered. If there's like a little bit sparkle of the fire is falling, then it's slowly to burn everything. Very like this. Once there is fire, it's then going to everywhere. It's difficult to get rid of fire. Like this he says, of course, we need to check. Once something is catched in your body, this is burning your body, that moment you are running to the hospital is difficult. He replied, guy, even you need to go to checks. And he's saying like this, other one is a little bit shocked. Difficult to reply, maybe it's truth. I need to go to the hospitals. I was in the listen to them, both the dives and myself, wow, yeah, this is the truth. It's certainly catched. Then you cannot choose. This is my experience. Wow, that's it. Once I was in the New Delhi, and I went in the library. There's two ladies, Tibetan ladies there. One is a seller of the books. One is a friend. And I'm looking the book in the different book. Behind in the cashier, they're talking, chatting. And one other one's coming and say, do you know what? Our friend, one guy yesterday died. And the other one says, what happened? Because 1 or 2 days ago, we went to the coffee bar, we drink. That time he's very healthy, no problems. You know, it's a death, it's like your shadow. Yesterday something happened, he died. But don't tease, we need to go, surely we will die. Said, other ladies completely stopped. And hair is coming, you know, like this, don't talk. It's like, so that is the truth. And I'm like looking the book, the Patrul, see her. Wow, it's the truth. When you're hearing like this, when we become more and more old, when you talk about death, it's kind of panic, terrifies, it's coming. And that moment, it's like to calculate our life. It's something, it's running, busy, involved, all the negativities. That moment, who can do to help to us? This death process, this injury of the sufferings, panic, and this thing, who can to share to us? And it's a very difficult, that moment, nobody cannot to share it. Maybe if we have PT instructions, maybe it's the teachers to remember, PT instructions remember, then we can to share, maybe we have some methods to control. Like this, it's like we in the life a little bit, we need to concern the human existence. There is like in the Bodhicharya avatar saying, says in the way of the Bodhisattvas, the Bodhicharya, thus having free, said, from the freedoms of the human life, if I now fail into tame myself in virtues, what greater folly could there ever be? How more could I betray myself? And I obtained the human existence, freedoms, advantages, and all is obtained like now. Why I don't do, I'm failing tame myself into virtues, and I should do it. If I'm not doing this one, then I'm really like kind of foolish, and myself is like to evil doing things, to be like kind of the betrayed myself. I'm cheating myself, I'm making confused myself, I'm destroying myself, I'm making bad to myself, like this. This present life, therefore, it is the turning point at which you can choose between lasting good or the last evil. If you do not make us of the use of it right now to seize the citadel of the absolute nature within these lifetimes, in a life to come to will be very hard to obtain such freedom again, sir.